everybody. Thank you for tuning in to Journey2Business. This is your host, Melissa Walker. Today we have two special guests. We've got Trevor and Mark in the show, and we'll introduce them a little bit more in a moment. Want to remind everybody this is this place, the show that you can come to where you can grow your business, grow your career, or grow yourself. Today we are in the series of how to find your next career, or the best path to finding your next career. And this episode is focused on networking. Now remember, we have a show that is based on reciprocity, so we invite all of our listeners to call in anytime at 214-431-5032, or you can send in referrals or any information that you'd like to send to www.nextcareerconsulting.com/J2B radio. You can also go to www.j2bradio.com. Kind of forgot we made the new one. Anyways, so again, you can call in at 214-431-5032. So as I mentioned, we have two very special guests on the show today. From New York Life, we've got Trevor Houston and Mark Elder. Thank you for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having us.
Okay. We're hoping that today we can get some good information out there to our listeners about networking and how to have networking conversations, as well as talk about some of the things that you guys do, which I found to be really cool out there, helping people really get positions. And I'm telling you, these guys do some amazing work. And, just kind of hear a little bit more about you and what you do, and, share the wealth with everybody. Yeah. So go ahead if you could. I'm going to start with you, Trevor. And if you could just tell me a little bit about you and, kind of why you wanted to be on the show today, and let's go from there.
Sure, absolutely. I appreciate you having me. So Mark and I, we got started at a local career transition group called First Go Connect. I think you've been there a couple of times. Yeah. So, and basically the group is designed to help people network and really find positions and for people that are in a career transition. And Mark and I got started over there a while back and started meeting with people to find out how we could be a resource and how we could really help them. And early on, when we started meeting with some of the individuals there, we found that there were two main areas that they were kind of struggling with. Mm-hmm. And one of those was all of the career building activities, mm-hmm. the things like updating the resume and the LinkedIn profiles, and networking was probably the number one thing that they were struggling with, because they say today that it's not necessarily what you know, but who you know can make all the difference.
It really does.
And so Mark and I, on a daily basis in our career, we are kind of like master networkers. And so we started really helping people leverage tools like LinkedIn to really open some doors, make some introductions to a lot of people, recruiters, hiring managers, and really kind of get some conversations started in the right direction. And it's been a really fun journey. We've made a lot of great relationships, mm-hmm. and have really helped a lot of people get landed, and it's been awesome.
Well, I can say that whenever we first met, we met for coffee at Starbucks, and whenever we did, we were both all three there. We were talking about the veteran space and the things that we do there. And Mark is a veteran, so I thank you for your service.
Yeah, thank you.
But so we were talking, and from the moment I met you and you realized that I did hiring, I started getting like flood of candidate resumes that you had met with. And I mean, so you really are out there making a difference and doing something to help people. So that's really, really cool. Now, what inspired you to think to go there? What do you do outside of helping people get positions?
Well, one of the things that I found was kind of important was when people are in a transition, there's a lot of things that they're struggling with financially. Mm-hmm. We've had a lot of people ask us questions because what happens is when they leave their employer, typically all their benefits, they're not portable. And so we see that very common, and people are really put in a position where financially from job A to job B, there are some gaps in there. Yeah. And so, in our career as financial services professionals, we help people kind of understand how to maximize and make sure that some of those gaps are taken care of in between. And so that's what we do, and we help people on both sides. We help them really help them find employment at the same time, show them different areas on how to maximize their future employee benefits that they get at their next employer. Because one of the things that we see very common is people will get a benefits package, but they usually don't have anyone there one-on-one to sit down with them to go through it all, and it usually leads to some gaps in their plans, they're usually told to go online or call a 1-800 number when when they have questions. They don't get anyone there to really sit down and explain it all. And so that's what we do. We help people understand and just educate them throughout the process and try to make sure that that transition is smooth from job A to job B.
So I have to give you a little bit of applause. Because what I'm going to say is I think you guys are like little angels out there just helping in every way you can. I mean, you're going out there helping people with jobs, you're helping them with their finances, which we all know is a struggle. So we had to give you a little bit of applause for all the hard work you're doing out there. So Mark, let's talk a little bit about you and kind of your story.
Sure. Well, actually, I did serve in the military, was a medic in the Air Force for 4 years, did my 4 and out, but had a great experience, and it really helped instill a passion for serving and for helping people. And so I built upon that, and I've always been in kind of a sales and marketing role. So after I got out of school, got out of the military, just fell in love with helping people, started volunteering, and so I've been passionate about that. But when I came to New York Life, and Trevor and I happened upon this group, Frisco Connect, we sat and listened to how people were going about getting their jobs, and it became apparent that, and that's kind of like where the light bulb went on, right? Where we heard that it's about who you know, and it would be a waste for us to be in this kind of like professional networker kind of capacity and not
company,
and not be able to leverage that to help people. Sure, we have a side of what we do. We do help people on the New York Life side, but as far as being able to give back and help people get landed to their next success, I think that's something that we both have found that is very rewarding.
And a lot of work.
And it's a lot of work, it is. I'll be quite honest, I mean, it does take a lot every week to go through the process and walk people through those steps. But a lot of people ask, hey, if I come in and I'm looking for help, do I need to do business with you, or do I need to, are there any expectations or obligations outside of just you guys helping me find the job? And the answer to that is absolutely not. I mean, we help so many people with no expectations, no obligations, and so I think that's something that where I can't come from has really just kind of been a good fit and mesh with who I am.
Yeah, and that's great. I mean, I think it's amazing that you guys kind of picked up on that and were able to help people with that. Especially considering, most people don't think outside the box. What is it, the millennial conversation? I mean, it's probably your idea, though. Actually, I don't know. He's like, what?
Trevor's the creative side of our partnership, and
I'm trying not to give the credit to the millennial business. Golly.
I would take the credit, but he kind of happened upon it when he was hiring his assistant, and just saw that there were so many people interested and needing help. So that's something that he really kind of took the tip of the spear on and just really kind of forged through. I'm more of the he calls me the compliance officer. So I try to think about
know what you're good at, not good at.
I try to think about all the ins and outs of.
We work really well together because I'm weak, he's strong, and vice versa. We kind of play off each other's strengths and weaknesses, and we're a pretty good team.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. I love to hear it. So I don't remember my next question, but it was a really good one. I'm serious. No. So how long have y'all been doing this work? And actually, one thing I wanted to say is I want to make sure we give a little bit of props to Frisco Connect too.
Oh, absolutely.
Because what the goal there is to help people get connected, network, and they have great speakers come in and talk about how to do the job search. So we want to make sure that people are aware that they are getting job search advice and different things. That's a great group. I mean, it's a great group to be a part of. So I want to make sure we give all the props there. Foster Williams, exactly. We should have had him on this episode. Go Foster.
Judge Bugby.
Yeah,
he's great too.
Yeah.
The group is full of great people that are just there to help.
Yeah, and I've been there a couple times, done some presentations there, and help people. So it's a good experience. And if you are on the job market, it's a place to definitely check out.
Absolutely.
Because you can meet these guys. I mean, they're famous now on the radio and everything. So you can meet these guys, but you can also.
Yeah, we're kind of a big deal.
Yeah. Well, you are now, for
No,
sure.
I'm just kidding.
You're with me, right? We're going to take a quick commercial break, but whenever we get back, we're going to hear a little bit more tips and tricks on how to network in the right way. Thank you for tuning in to Journey2Business. This is again Melissa Walker. I've got Trevor Houston and Mark Elder on the show with us from New York Live. I want to remind everybody we are brought to you by Fishbowl Radio Network, and this is a show based on reciprocity. Therefore, we would love for our listeners to call in anytime at 214-431-5032. Call in if you have any questions, referrals, or just want to talk. You can also go ahead and go to our website at www.j2bradio.com and send in referrals or send in any information or questions, and we'll make sure to get those answers to you or share your referrals. We really appreciate everything we've gotten so far on the show. So again, Journey2Business, we're here talking about the best path to your next career, and we've got Mark and Trevor, in the studio, on the phone, online, everywhere, and we are talking about networking and networking conversations. And so, I talk about it a lot on the show, and when I've talked about other, career different things. And ultimately, whenever you're looking for a career, networking is so important. It's the hugest part of what you can do in your job search. Coming from a recruiter background in a corporate world, if you look at resumes that you get online from positions, you're looking at hundreds of resumes that come in. And, to see one person that shines is really hard. So to actually, it's like finding a diamond in the rough. So, whenever you just go apply online, that's not always going to get you there. So you need to make sure you're looking at other avenues such as networking. And as Trevor said earlier, who can get you anywhere and everywhere. So get out there, get to know people, and remember that everybody you know is actually part of your network. You can find somebody in the grocery store. You can find somebody at church. You can find somebody walking the dog. Anywhere you are, anybody you meet can be a potential referral to a position, to somebody to network with, to get to know, because you never know who they know. That's what I tell everybody. It's not who you know, it's who they know. It's who you know knows. Sorry,
That's
it's
right.
who you know knows.
Yeah.
Who you know knows. I like that.
Exactly. Yeah. So let's go with a little. I don't know. I'm playing with these sounds, so we'll see if they make any sense. Here's another one. Sorry, just had a little humor there. Anyway, so tell us a little bit about what you guys are doing with networking and how you've seen the importance of it and the value of doing it.
Sure. So when we got started doing this, I went out and kind of actively sought out different people to help, broaden my network so I could help other people. I went out on LinkedIn, and I use LinkedIn daily, and basically, started reaching out to different recruiters and hiring managers and different people to help broaden my network so that I could leverage my network to help others.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I found you.
Yeah.
We got connected, and it's been awesome, because now I've sat down and had coffee and really met with a lot of interesting people, and been able to use LinkedIn's virtual connection feature, where you can put people together in a conversation
Mm-hmm.
and introduce people. And so we do that on a daily basis, where I'm introducing candidates with hiring managers and recruiters all over the place.
See, I use the old school method of just sending an email. I don't
Yeah.
even know how to do the virtual connection. You just show me that, because I don't even know how to do that.
It's easy.
These
It's
millennials.
Well, it's funny, we sit down with people, and a lot of people don't even know that feature exists on LinkedIn. And so that's a big part of our process, is showing people how to use LinkedIn to make connections, to make introductions, and open doors.
And how to properly do those introductions and that kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. So what have you seen some of the value of doing that networking?
Well, more of the organic networking, I guess, offline, right? Trevor really covered the online aspects of it, and emailing or LinkedIn is certainly fine. There are other avenues, and
Well, that's kind of the follow-up to networking too. So you go out and you meet people. Well, you actually have to do something when you meet them,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the follow-up part. And that's what, if you say you're going to do something, do it. Because if there's anything that's going to give you a view, or people a view of you, if you don't follow through, that's a bad sign. And people don't usually want to hire people that don't follow through. So remember, if you're offering help, to give it.
Oh, absolutely. Well, when people ask me how do you spell success? What's your definition of success? Right? It's follow-up.
Yeah.
Right. That's what my answer usually is. So. You're right, and I think I've heard this number thrown out there. I've not fact checked it for accuracy, but they say that out of all applications that are out there, only about 10% of people are getting a position or even getting an interview just from submitting a resume online or at a company's website.
That might be average, sometimes less, sometimes more. I mean, I know if you have 100 resumes out there, you're going to be doing a couple interviews.
Yeah.
So it's a lot.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely. I think that, if that's the case, and technology is great, but it has made the job search insurmountable at times because you have so much competition out there. People from all over the country, all over the world perhaps, are applying and vying for those same positions. And recruiters on the other side have so much coming at them that it is just...
I mean, I would manage 35 positions at a time, having 100 resumes come in. You got to schedule interviews, do all the administrative side, look at the resumes. I mean, you think that they joke when you get 5 seconds? You really get 5 seconds view, I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
Like, literally.
And you can't, like you said, you can't shine there. So the networking side on LinkedIn is great, but I think you still have to get out there and actually, like Frisco Connect, right? Go to a group. South Lake Focus Group is another good one. We've actually attended Dennis O'Hagan's group as well here in the metro area. But that's the career transition networking side, and I think that those are good, but you don't want to inundate or fill your calendar with just career transition networking groups. You want to go out and you want to find professional associations that you could belong to or other groups that are filled with people that have jobs that you can rub elbows with. And again, like you had mentioned this, you had brought up, you meet people everywhere. It doesn't matter what position or what walk of life or what their title is at the company. It's just you need to connect with people because who they know is important.
Yep.
Don't discount somebody because they're an analyst or a rank and file employee at some company, right?
Oh, yeah. It's all about influence, and influence can be anybody in a company. That's
their spouse, they could be married to the director of HR, right?
Their daughter or son or mother or father or whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I mean, that's a great point. And I think, getting out there with people that are working is definitely a good point whenever you're networking. So, all of those are very important. So one of the things about networking too is how you network. So I had a blog out there that was "Don't be a networking lifer." So if you go to a networking group, you're going with a purpose, and make sure you follow through with that purpose. So you don't just go to meet people or to do your unemployment. You actually want to go to get a new career, right? And so I always say if people went to the networking groups, and number one, had in mind that my goal is to come here and help somebody else today. I'm going to help as many people as I can. That's going to change the dynamic of what the career groups do, because if I go there with an intention to help somebody, a lot less people are going to need help, because if everybody's helping each other, there's going to be a lot more careers given. And the other thing is that you don't get anything you don't ask for, and I've learned that lesson in life, and I'm not afraid to ask for anything anymore. And trust me, I'm not afraid to ask for anything. So so if you need help with something, make sure you ask. But there's a way to ask, and there's a way to talk to people and find out more about how you need to approach the conversation and what it is by learning what they do and what they have. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But for now, I wanted to kind of talk through, one of the things about the networking conversation is you don't want to do a sales pitch. And so that's why I think you guys are almost genius with what you're doing, because you don't go out there and sell your service, because ultimately you're just trying to help people.
Yep.
And so you kind of have this approach, though, that you're helping in multiple ways. So it makes it even cooler, because it's making a difference in multiple ways. And you're not out there doing a sales pitch. You're offering help to people. And so when you offer help to people, guess what? They want to help you too. And that's just kind of the reciprocity circle, which the show's based on. And so it's really good that you guys are doing that. But, if you walk up to somebody and try to sell them on yourself, you're usually going to fail.
Right.
You need to have a way of doing it, an approach to it. And that's why it's very important. Yeah, I mean, it literally does. It just glazes over.
Yep.
And I mean, I know that from a business owner perspective, from a sales perspective of being in sales roles, and from being somebody who's searched for positions. And don't try to sell anything.
Yeah.
You show your value.
Yeah, our goal really when we meet with people is to build a relationship.
Yeah.
We want to get to know them and figure out how we can help them, and naturally business will happen through that, but we don't expect it. We just want to build a relationship. It's been crazy because a lot of the people we've met with, we almost become like their therapist or counselor sometimes.
Oh, yeah, that is so true in your career. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
that's why I got my coaching certificate.
Yeah, I mean, we're asking them questions and trying to figure out how we can help, and they just, kind of let it all out and tell us what they're struggling with, and we want to know how we can help. And so it's been really fun to build those relationships, and I think it's going to take our business far, and we get to help people at the same time. It's a win-win.
Yeah, I don't know if I wonder if you guys have done this. I know with NextCareer, one of the things that we did is making sure that if we can't offer a service, because when people are out of a job, there's so many things that are happening. There are sometimes mental things. There are sometimes, financial things. There's a lot of different, you might be moving. There's a lot of things that are happening. And so it's not only important to know what you can offer as a service, but to know other companies that are good service providers as well. And so we always, if we can't help you with something you need, we're going to send you to a place that we know by doing business with them or sending people there is a valued place to do business that's going to help you. So we have a ton of resources. So we're always making sure that we are connecting people with other resources. Have you guys kind of implemented that same model, or?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, we have a pretty broad network just from our friends, our family, clients even, that we've done business with who are in no way related to the career search, but they have businesses, they have things that they do that other people could connect with, and we've facilitated introductions across the board to not just facilitate or to foster the career transition, but to introduce somebody to a mortgage broker or somebody that needs help with they flooded their house, and so they need a referral to somebody recovery team or something like that. So
referrals are the way to go. Hence the show is based on referrals. And so it's good to connect people. I don't know if you've ever seen the website. I think it's neighborhood.com, and that's a lot of referrals and that kind of thing. And it really is good to know as many different resources as you can. So I always joke around, like, if anybody needs anything, they can call me, because I know somebody that does something and everything. And I try to do that, but it's good to know the people that do it, because if you need the service, but it's good to be able to help other people connecting with that. I thrive off of helping people.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's all about trust too. I don't mind introducing people and making those connections, as long as I have somebody that I really trust and I know that can get the job done and do it.
Right.
Do it
That's
correctly.
the worst thing, is when you refer somebody to something and they just get totally like.
Yeah, because then that's your reputation that's on the line.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, it's all about just putting people together and making those connections.
Yeah, I always kind of have this caveat when I do referrals. It's like, I put my name behind it. That means I really trust this person and everything they stand for. Or I say, I'm just referring. I don't know them.
Right.
Because I learned when I was a young recruiter.
Practice.
Yeah, when I was a young recruiter and I kept referring in like my family, and then they would lose the job. Seriously. That's not what you do. You don't put your name behind people very often, because it does look bad on you and reflect on you. But giving a referral is still 100% necessary, and you should do it, but only to good businesses and places to go. Right. So, what else have you seen? I want to get to it, but I'm going to wait till after the next commercial before we talk about the slant, which is the way to have the conversation. I want to build up everybody's anticipation for the slant. We're going to slant the conversation in a little bit. But before we get there, tell me a little bit more about how you've seen people effectively network.
I think that for a lot of people, it's been so long that they have not done any networking, right? We've met with people that have worked at a company for, the last 18 years, and they get into a position where, they're good at what they do, and they're what they do is not networking. And so
it is like almost a skill, like a job skill to look for a job.
Sure.
That's why I always send people to the job search places, because you have to learn those skills a lot of times.
So I think that there are some resources out there. There's coaches like you yourself, and there's folks like us who can help develop those skills and really guide you. So to answer your question, though, it's all about engaging the people in a way that they feel comfortable and not being pushy about it. There are a lot of pushy people out there that are just ask, right? And that are not willing to give or reciprocate, like you had said. So people are willing to help. It just has to be convenient. And so you have to make it convenient for them.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Sadly, you do. What else have you seen? It's just like it's thinking through, okay, I'm going to go and network. How do I effectively network? Part of it's just having an outcome. What are you looking to do? What are you looking to achieve by going to that networking meeting? And remembering that focus. But what else would you say is?
Well, there's a lot of different types of groups out there. You've got your industry exclusive groups, networking groups. I'm actually the president of McKinney Business Builders. It's a team referral group that has a lot of different entrepreneurs and business owners, and that's where you'll have one person from every type of industry. You're going to have one real estate agent, one
Kind of
more,
like a BNI.
yeah, kind of like business network, yeah. So you'll have those industry exclusive networking groups, and then you're going to have, I mean, you see all these happy hour social type deals where it's just anybody from any walk of life can come and just meet and greet. And
well, that's where you get the nerve to ask people for things without a
Yeah.
drink. So it's great.
Yeah.
If you're not used to networking.
Sure.
So I think it all depends on what kind of works for you. Go out, try different, types of networking and figure out what works for you and stick to it. And it's one of those things where you want to keep showing up. Don't just go once, because what happens is you're not going to build the relationships.
Right.
If you make it consistent, then you'll build real, genuine relationships.
Yeah. You pointed out something a minute ago that was actually really key. You said that people haven't been out networking in 18 years or something because they've been in the same job. That's something to think about too, is if you are in a career, get out there and network still. One, you can be like these gentlemen and help other people. But two, you never know, one, what you may find in those networking groups, because I've found gems everywhere. I mean, getting to know people is just an amazing thing. I mean, and learning different things that people do. And you never know, you might find a career transition. You may find a way to move up. I mean, there's so many things that you can get from just going out there and meeting people. But also, whenever you do, eventually you'll be on the market, most likely. Most people, especially these days, it happens a couple times. So be prepared for that always. It's like always having your resume, always have your network. Remember, don't just do it whenever you need it. Do it all the time.
Yeah. And one door kind of leads to another. I met a gentleman at one of those happy hour socials, and he was the one that told me about Frisco Connect and South Lake Focus Group. But had I not been there, I mean, one door just kind of leads to another. One person leads to another person. So you never know who they're going to know. And this person knew Foster Williams, and I went over.
That's the person to know in Dallas, that's for sure.
Yeah, Foster knows everyone, so.
Yeah. I'm definitely second to him, but now, there's a lot of great people out there and resources.
Yeah.
I was going to say, if we have time for the commercial, you'd asked how to network. And so I think something else that I need to point out is think about how you would like to be approached, right? If you were in a position where other people were approaching you asking for help, how would you like to be approached? And then model that out to people that you're talking to and asking for help. We oftentimes get into this almost like a frenzy of, I need to get help.
Me.
Right. And so it's hard to stop and think sometimes, like, maybe I'm not approaching somebody the way I should in a manner that's, open and willing to get help from them, or might be putting them off, or might be, kind of jading them. So
it goes back to that statement of, like, instead of pointing the finger of this is why I'm not getting a job, it's all your fault, pull the thumb, which is look at yourself and see if there's a way you can change your approach. If it's not working, it's not necessarily everybody else. Sometimes you just need to change the way you're doing it. And so that leads us into the slant conversation. So I finally am going to bring it up. So I made this term up one day because I was trying to explain to people how to appropriately, address a conversation. It's mostly with hiring managers or different people, but this really works in so many different ways. And so what SLANT stands for is, you'll find out after the commercial.
Oh.
Right, we are back with Journey2Business Radio Show. Melissa Walker here is your host. We've got Mark Elder and Trevor Houston on the show from New York Live. Thank you again for coming in.
Thank you.
Remember, it's a show for reciprocity. Feel free to call in at 214-431-5032, or you can check us out on www.j2bradio.com, where you can send in referrals, ask questions, or just be a part of the show. We'll make sure you get the answers you need. And we're brought to you by Fishbowl Radio Network. All right, now that all that is said, we are going to talk about the slant. Hold on, we gotta have like a, let's see. That's not a fight, but
Yeah.
Okay, that's better. Okay, so some slanting conversations. So when you get out there and you're going to have a conversation with people, here's the thing. You can take what you do, and it's like throwing spaghetti against the wall and seeing if it sticks. And you can tell somebody, one of the things people do when they want to talk about their background is they want to just say everything. And we've all done a lot of cool things, and we're really proud of ourselves. but people don't necessarily want to know everything you've done.
Mm.
So the important thing to do is have a focused conversation, and how you figure out what that focus is the first letter of SLANT. Start with the other person, okay? So let me give you what all SLANT is. So let's start with the other person, listen to what they say, ask open-ended questions, understand their needs, and then you speak, okay? So what that means is if I'm a hiring manager and I'm out there, I have things that keep me up at night. I have things I need done. I have specific things I'm looking for, right? So if somebody comes up to me and they just start talking about everything they've done and they forget that one thing I need because they didn't know about it, or they just breeze by it, then, you know, they're not going to be somebody that stands out to me, right?
Right.
So what you need to do is understand what the hiring manager needs, understand what your skills are, and then have the conversation. So even if it's somebody else, understanding what their needs are and then offering to help them, as we were talking about on the break, if you offer people help, a lot of times they want to help you too. I mean, it's an automatic thing. Well, how can I help you?
Right.
You know, so when you're having a conversation, let's have an example, okay? Let's do this. This is completely okay.
Here we
yeah,
go.
It's going to be completely by the seat of our pants here.
Okay.
Stress. Okay, so who wants to join me on this?
Mark, you go.
All right, I'll do this.
Okay. What are we gonna do? So what we're gonna do is walk up. So hey, how are you doing, Mark?
Hey, I'm doing great. Great to meet you.
Wait, we forgot. So I'm gonna be the job seeker,
Okay.
and you're gonna be the hiring manager.
All right.
Okay. All right. So you're good today.
Yeah, I'm doing well. What brings you to the group?
You know, actually, I'm sitting here and I wanted to get to know a lot of other people and see what else is going on in the market. You know, tell me a little bit about what your role is and what you do in your organization. That's not really the best.
Well, so I manage a team of engineers, and we build microchips, and so we have very intricate work that we have to do, a lot of technology and machinery, and so that's basically what I do.
What's the most important tool you work with in your environment? I've heard a lot about, you know, different microchips, and I'm going to make up and pretend like I know some of them. But, you know, tell me, is that a tool that you use, or what's?
Well, you know, really, it's the material. It's all silicon, right?
Yeah.
And so
We're going to make up what this stuff
right,
is. We should fix something we knew something about.
Yeah, that's right.
Continue, sorry.
It's you know, it's definitely the computer programming that is probably the technology that we use the most, the tool that we use, and everything is controlled now by the computer, and so all of the robots and the lasers that form the chips, that's probably the most tool. But really, when you get down to it, who operates all that?
Yeah, that's a
People,
good point. Yeah,
right?
Yeah, people do. So, I mean, is there something that keeps you up at night whenever you're, you know, thinking about needing to fill these positions?
Yes, I think, well, employees, right? Turnover and company pressures to perform, and you know, sometimes you have to let people go. Sometimes, you know, things just aren't working out. Sometimes there's layoffs.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's really interesting. So my background actually happens to be in microchip computers and silicon and blah, blah. And you know, I'm actually currently on the market, and I'd love to talk to you more about it because I have that specific skill, whatever it is that we're talking about that you need. And, you know, I've demonstrated that experience in this way and that way. And so I really think that it would be a good idea if you're willing to chat more about how I can help you with your current needs.
Yeah, I think we can do that. As a matter of fact, it's rare that you run into somebody with that background. So
I know, isn't that awesome?
Yeah,
so let me help you out.
fantastic.
Okay, we're never doing that live again.
Oh my gosh.
That needed some work, but you get the kind of gist of it. So I was asking questions just to kind of find out what the needs were, what is the, you know, problems that you're facing, and I kind of left them open to where he could answer what those were, not me saying, oh, did you find this or whatever. Or you can ask a question like, you've heard of something, is that true or whatever. And then you want to show, you know, after you understand, okay, these are the needs, here's how I fit those needs. So that means, you know, not knowing the topic we were talking about was a little bit difficult, but, you know, I think that we hopefully got the point across. And if we didn't, feel free to write us and tell us about it.
Yeah, call in. Yeah, my bad.
No, don't call in. Right. Okay.
But you're right. You know, it's one of the things where most people are not actively listening. They're listening to respond.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so
You
they're
should
not
pay
really
attention to what
hearing.
they say. Let's say, stop hearing what you're hearing and listen to what people are saying.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great thing. And that's kind of even to the point of the other, you know, little quote I like to say is, you know, I think it's Gandhi that said it, but basically, if you're listening, or if you're speaking, you're not going to learn anything. If you're listening, you might learn something. I said that wrong, but
something like that.
Yeah, definitely.
if you're speaking,
It's
you're
true.
not learning. If you listen, you might actually learn something, something to that effect. So basically, listen to what other people have to say first. Don't just self-brag because you don't know what to brag about yet.
Right.
So,
Right.
You don't know what their needs are.
if I don't hear my need and I'm a hiring manager, guess what? You're not going to get hired. And the other thing that's really important whenever you're selling yourself out there and looking for a job is to understand your why. Okay. So I always talk about this, Simon Sinek, the why. So when you're actually talking about yourself and your skills, you want to cover, I just say who, what, when, where, how, and why. Okay. I cover it all. So you want to talk about who you are, what kind of job you're looking for. This is how you create the ask, basically. Your why. Why you? Why would I hire you? Why you're looking for this? Why you have a passion for this? How they can get a hold of you, and when you're available. Did I cover them all? Who, what, when, where, why, how?
I think you did.
How you're going to do a good job. So either way, you cover them all. You cover all your bases on that, and make sure the why is one of the most important parts. Because if I go out there and I'm sitting there and I'm looking for a position, and if, a lot of other people have the skills, most likely, that you have. If you're a project manager, or you're a call center, or, these are ones that you hear a lot of times, or, and so what's going to make the difference, not only is it that you're going to fit the need, but why you? What impact are you going to make? What is the special value? Why do you enjoy doing it? What passion you have? Like when you look at somebody and you see the light in their eyes, they talk about something, you know that that's a passion of theirs. And that gives away a why right there. But to be able to speak to that, and if you haven't seen it again, Simon Sinek, why? He's got all the notoriety and fame in the world, and he deserves it because it's really important. You have to stand out. It's the icing on the cake. Okay, show your icing. Cake's the cake. Show the icing. I can't remember who that was, but it was from Pepsi, the head of marketing. They were.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So you have to have the icing. So your icing is why you. What makes you special? Makes you stand out. I talked about that even whenever like you're going to do interviews or jobs. I create a thing called the value proposition bubble. I call them bubbles. I put mine in bubbles, literally. So what that is showing why, So would you guys agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. Yeah. It's all about your value proposition, right?
Yeah. So anything else you guys would like to add to the show today? Because we are at the end, and I thank all of you listeners for listening to Journey2Business. But one last statement from you both.
Well, if you are in a career transition, if you're looking for a position out there, we'd love to help and see how we can be a resource to you. Reach out to us, and
how do we get a hold of you?
You can email me. My email address is tmhouston, like the city, @ft.nyl.com, or you can call me directly at 214-585-1934.
That's a man who really wants to help. He's bold enough to give his personal information. There we go.
Yep. And that's the same for me. I mean, if you're looking for, and even if you're employed, right, that's one of the best times to look.
Yeah.
And so get in touch with us, contact us. We're here to help. We want to help. It's not all about us. It's about you and helping, and that's why we're doing it. We're giving back. It's a byproduct of it is we get to help market ourselves, and that's great. But to get in touch with Trevor, email or give him a call. You can look me up. This is a little bit easier to remember, maybe markelder.net. So look me up on the web, markelder.net. And it's got my contact information there as well. Yeah, and you're both online, and of course you can always reach them through writing at Journey2Business J2BRadio.com. There's a spot where you can ask questions there. So that wraps it up. I thank you guys very much for what you're doing, for your service, for everything. You're angels out there helping other people. So anybody that needs something would be glad to know you. Thank you again for coming on the show. Thanks for having us. Thank you. Thank you for all you do. Had to do one more. Talk next week. The show is next week, by the way, is again how to find your next career, and we're going to be doing some interviews. It's interview conversations, and after that, we're going to start the new series. We're actually going to do live interviews on the show and give feedback. So that's going to be really, really fun. So make sure you listen in next week, and remember, life is limitless. Are you ready to own the journey? I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with my hands. I'm on fire. He's like, what? That's right. I would take the credit. It's funny. I wasn't gonna say this on
You know
live.
you're still live, right?
Are we?
Yeah.
Project this out, but he's my my counterpart, but distance says
We're like an old married couple.
we're like an old married couple.
So we'll get in little arguments, but then like
I prefer brothers.
yeah, 20 minutes later we're okay.
Again,
Okay.
Please don't need one for the camera. All right. One time we had another thing on here. Interviews on the show and give feedback. So that's going to be really, really fun. The last pose. Peace. It's not on there right now, but it's there, I promise. It's on the other one.